Hey, I'm Dr. Tim Weir. I love life. I love to eat, I love to cook, I love to share life with others, those people who do what they love and love what they do. I'm the host of the television show, Loving Life with Dr. Tim Weir. Been around some of the greatest musicians, some great actors, some great business people who do what they love and love what they do. Spend the next 30 minutes with me discovering how you can love life too. Hey, welcome to this episode of Loving Life. You know, it's all about finding things around you that you can do that will help you love life, and I think we got a good show for you today. Let's get right to it. Hey, we got another great segment with Dan the Animal Man. Dan has got one of my favorite things in the world. Not real.
Hey, Dr.
Dan,
Weir, how you doing?
glad you're
nice
here,
to see you again. The almighty
Angleworm.
snake. Angleworm. This is a ball python. It's one of the sweetest, most docile snakes you'll ever be around. It comes from a very hostile environment, though. It comes from the Congo in Africa.
Yeah.
Western
Wow.
Africa. Yeah, it's a tough place to live. This creature right here, you notice it's not looking to come after us. It likes redheads. No, I'm just kidding. No, this snake, it's not looking for us. Now, that would change if we go pet a guinea pig or a hamster or a gerbil, a rabbit, any kind of rodent protein on our hands. You know, all living creatures put off scent. That scent floats in the air and snakes pull it in on their tongue and plug it into a computer-like organ in the roof of their mouth.
So he keeps doing the tongue thing. He's actually sensing the area.
That's right. He's taking in scent, Old Spice today, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not getting any rodent protein into his computer-like organ, the Jacobson's organ. So he's not really excited, right? He doesn't view us as prey. And this snake has visited thousands of school children and been touched by many people, and its uses. Now, when we rescued this snake, it was in pretty bad shape. Snotty nose, very skinny, and an animal that was on the verge of death, okay? A lot of people don't realize it, but these animals, even though they can go so long without eating, he eats every 2 weeks, but he could go months and months without eating and be fine. But that's not what he wants to do.
Okay, so what's happening here?
Nothing, he's just coming over. He's gonna seek out warmth, so we're like a living heat pad for him. And again, he's not afraid of you, he's not hostile, he's not mad at you. Matter of fact, why don't you just hold him for a second?
If my arm disappears, he has it.
Here, put your hands out like that. So these guys are, they're very tropical, so they like it really warm. They like a good 95, 98
Is that
degrees.
right?
Oh yeah. And reptiles, being they're cold-blooded, they thrive off of heat anyway. They don't function without heat. If there's no heat, a reptile is not going to eat. It's gotta have heat. It can't process food. So oftentimes when people have these as pets, they don't really keep them warm enough or fed enough, and they deteriorate. It's really important when you get a pet to seek out the information you need. Knowledge is power, right? He's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. So this is all like ribs through here, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got ribs. Why, you want to adjust him?
Yeah, well, I was thinking it. Do you need an adjustment?
He's got great camouflage, though. Remember the owl that I brought on?
Yeah.
Yeah, his camouflage. Again, this is a camouflage creature for ambush predation. He's a predator that's going to hang out and wait for that prey to come near him, and he's going to launch out and grab it. He's a constrictor, so don't be worried about venom right now.
Yeah. So I can feel him squeezing on my wrist there a little bit.
Yeah.
That's how he moves.
Yeah, he is a squeezer. And
You're a
one of
hugger,
these
aren't you?
segments, I'll bring a serious python in here.
Really?
Yeah, her name's Julia Squeezer. She's 13 feet.
Oh my
Yeah,
Lord.
we'll need a longer table and a wider frame.
So rodents?
Oh yeah, rodents, birds. If the bird's not home, he'll even eat the eggs.
Really?
Yeah, remember I told you he's a ball python? He's a ball python because when their characteristic is when they're upset, mad, annoyed, afraid, threatened, they will ball themselves up. That's how he got the name Wilson.
Wow. Did you draw a little face on?
We also have one named Spalding. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Cool
So
creature.
these are great, but always tell people pets are not always...
You know, I don't promote them as pets. You know, if you're a snake lover, a snake person, and you've got the resources and the ability and the knowledge to take care of a snake, great. But, you know, you really want to make sure that you're the right person for the animal. Oftentimes people don't ask that question, and you really need to, because, you know, over my 25 years of doing this, I've rescued so many snakes and seen so many snakes that that really need help, because, you know, people aren't feeding themselves with knowledge.
Yeah.
You gain the knowledge first to be a great steward of the animal, and then once that happens, then you take that step.
Dan, thanks for being with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Keep loving life. Hey, welcome back to the kitchen. You're cooking with Dr. Weir, by the way. So, one of my biggest things in cooking in the kitchen is this. You don't have to be the Angus Barn or some big restaurant when you cook. I love that place, by the way, but still, every meal doesn't have to be like that. And what we tend to do is we tend to judge ourselves on that, and we come up short every time. Quit judging yourself like that. Just decide this is how you're going to eat. I know people, they eat the same. In fact, my mother-in-law, all of her life, every meal was planned out for the week. And Mondays, I think it was meatloaf. Friday was soup. Sunday was a bigger meal. But you don't have to be diversified. You don't have to have a 600-page cookbook and you have to have something new from that you don't have to. So, in saying all of that, today we're going to cook some rigatoni. Now, as you can tell by my accent, I'm not Italian. So this is not an Italian chef show showing you how to... This is how I do it. But our family loves it, and so we eat it a lot when we're together. Today, I'm using gluten-free noodles. If you want to use gluten-free, you can. Nowadays, the gluten-free noodles, you can't tell the difference between them and the others. I am just getting back onto the bandwagon again, where I'm trying to cut out sugar, trying to cut out wheat. And so if you want to join me in that journey, glad to have you. So I'm browning some hamburger here. I like to use like a 93% because there's less grease in it than the other ones, because otherwise you got to drain it and all that kind of stuff. Easier the better, right? So I'm going to let this kind of cook here. While this is cooking, and by the way, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of garlic salt on this. I like to do it when it's cooking because the grease and all the meat and everything begins to sop up that garlic taste. That's about all the seasoning that we're going to use for this entire thing, by the way. So the next thing is our sauce. I make a sauce that is like an Alfredo. Add a little bit of red sauce to it. Some people call that a vodka sauce, I think. Mine is a little bit more pink than that. From Wisconsin originally, so I really like the cream part. So you just pour some of this in, get a little bit of that heated up, and then you add a stick of butter. A whole stick of butter, yeah. I heard you say that, by the way. So this is going to just melt. And then we're going to let that heat the cream up. We're going to add more cream to it. Heavy whipping cream, by the way, it does the best here. If you want to make heavy whipping cream, don't have heavy whipping cream, you use whole milk and add butter to it, or you can use half and half and add butter to it. As you can see, the butter's starting to melt here. Delicious. I use unsalted butter here because we're using salted garlic. So use this. So while these things are kind of cooking here, let me tell you, when I was a kid growing up, Grandma lived with us. You don't see that much anymore. But Grandma lived with us and cooked. Grandma made homemade bread. Every meal we would come home, Grandma had already made it. And she loved cooking. She loved baking. I remember as a kid, you know, back then we had the heaters coming out of the floor, the vents. And I would get up to get ready to school. Grandma had already been up, and she was having her bread raise on top of the heat register on the floor. She'd cover it with a little kitchen towel, and it began to raise. So this is heating up now. It's really buttery. So I'm going to add in more heavy whipping cream because you're going to have to require a lot of this. Okay, this is going to cook a little bit. Let's check the hamburger. All right. Not much grease in here. That's why I love this. All right. Watch this. I'll be right back.
Car accidents happen in seconds, but the pain can last for months. Even a minor crash can cause hidden injuries that don't show up right away. At Raleigh Injury Chiropractic, we specialize in treating auto accident injuries. We help relieve pain, restore movement, and support your recovery naturally. And don't wait for the pain to get worse. Call Raleigh Injury Chiropractic today. Your recovery starts here.
Okay, we're back. Meat is done, so we're going to turn that off. Smells good. Say this out loud. If Dr. Weir can do this, I can do this. Okay? All right. This is heating up. Yeah, nice. Now, here's where we get crazy. Parmesan cheese. Now, you can use the freshly grated stuff. This is just kind of comes in a little can. So, I'm going to add this here, and this just stirs in. Look at that. Now, as that cooks, that's going to begin to, it'll get thicker and thicker, and that's what we're looking for. You think you could do this? I think you can do this. This is really easy. So this is cooking. Now, that's kind of drained out. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to add in some, this is bolognese. This has a little bit of meat in it, but it's a tomato sauce with meat. So I'm going to add this to the hamburger. Yummy. There we go. You can get this kind of sauce anywhere. You can get it at Food Lion, Wegmans, Publix. And we'll just let this cook up a little bit. All right. Man, this smells just like somebody's Italian grandma made this. Which brings me to another thing. Go to Netflix. There's a little show on there called Nonas. Watch that. Great show. Love that show. It's all about this guy who's building a restaurant, and he brings in all these nonas, is the grandma in Italian, evidently. And so he brings in 4 nonas as the chefs. He doesn't pay some professional chef. He gets grandmas who know how to cook, and they put this restaurant together. Absolutely fabulous movie. This is beginning to boil here just a little bit, which is good. You want it to boil because you want it to thicken. I'm bringing up the nona thing because I'm looking for some nonas to come and cook with me. So if you've got a nona, if you got a grandma who, you know, she used to make this incredible meal. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. And she got personality. That's what I'm looking for, somebody with personality. And you think she would come and be on the show with me and cook with me? Oh, we'll have a good time. And it might not be your nona, it might be your mom. Your mom knows how to do it. Or could be you. You might know how to cook. But if you would like to do that, Dr. Tim at drtimweir.com. Send me a little email that says, I want to be on your show. I want to cook with you. And we are going to have a blast doing it. I have a couple of people already set up for a couple of episodes coming up. And we are going to have fun doing that. Now look how this is thickening. Okay? And that's about right. There's not a lot of measuring. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Just cook it. And then we're going to add in the noodles. They've already been cooked, and we've got them here. They've already been drained. The camera people are saying, show the noodles going in. Okay. There we go. Okay. We've got the noodles together with the Alfredo type sauce, and then we're going to put in this. I would add in some grated Parmesan on top, maybe some shredded cheese, some mozzarella. And you never know it until you try it. It's going to be hot. That is good. That's a really good flavor. All of that coming together. Real easy meal for your family. They're going to love you. Go call Nona right now. Let's get her here. Get her on the show for the next episode. Listen, it's all about loving life. It's all about enjoying doing what you love and loving what you do. Love to cook. I'll see you next time.
Car accidents happen in seconds, but the pain can last for months. Even a minor crash can cause hidden injuries that don't show up right away. At Raleigh Injury Chiropractic, we specialize in treating auto accident injuries. We help relieve pain, restore movement, and support your recovery naturally. Don't wait for the pain to get worse. Call Raleigh Injury Chiropractic today. Your recovery starts here.
All right, we are here at Mount Olive Pickle Company
Yes.
with Lynn Williams. Thank you for being with me.
And I'm delighted.
Wow, who would have known that a cucumber would turn into this big thing, huh?
Exactly.
Kind of like Mickey Mouse and the Mouse.
You know, and we actually got started with because of a bumper crop of cucumbers that were going to waste in local fields here in the 1920s.
Really?
Yes. And business people realized that if they could create another market for farmers, that the whole town would benefit. And so that's how the pickle company got its start. The local business people established the company to pack and sell its own brands of pickles.
Wow. Where did pickles first start?
Actually, cucumbers came out of India and were taken to the Tigris Valley. And sometime after 2030 BC, I figure it was a pretty...
I remember that, by the way.
Yeah, do you? I figure it was a pretty smart woman who figured out that you could put cucumbers in a salt brine.
Yeah.
And they would ferment and not spoil. So pickles have been around for about 4,000 years.
Wow. If we could find some of those original ones and see what they tasted like now.
Yeah.
By the way, I want you to know I use only Mount Olive pickles in all my cooking that I do because they're the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
So here we are in the middle of a little town called Mount Olive. Mm-hmm. How much space does Mount Olive Pickle take up in the town?
Well, we're the largest employer. We have we own about 175 acres of property here on this side and in other parts of town. 1.2 million square feet of warehouse and production space. We have an 1,100 tank yard, and that holds 40 million pounds of cucumbers that they hang out in that salt brine solution and ferment. So yeah, it's a pretty big operation here.
So how about if we go so we start at the cucumber farm, they bring them in, they weigh them and wash them and do all that stuff, and then they bring them into this plant that we're going to go into, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we do that?
We sure can.
Let's go.
You got to get your hairnet on.
Really?
Yes.
This could be, if you have small children, this could be a scary looking thing, so just be careful. Let's go. This is a lot of water and a lot of salt.
Yes.
Wow.
We actually recycle, we reuse this brine in our tank yard. So about 75% of it is recycled.
Wow.
To minimize the discharge of salt. So we try to be very careful with what we do with our natural resources. So we drop the cucumbers in, a little bit of brine in the bottom. One of these tanks will hold an average of 800 bushels of cucumbers. And when they're all full, we've got 40 million pounds on our tank yard. And this represents about a third of our production.
Man.
This was the first pickle festival. And here's the governor, it's Car Scott. And this was Miss Pickle. And this fellow actually is our company chairman's father. And this is Mayor Nelson Ricks. So it was a bit, and you see all the people on top of the roof? Well, that's a different era.
Yeah.
You don't see that now.
OSHA'd be all over that.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you just a second about something called confrontation. You know, there's such a negative feeling about that word, but you know, we all know people who are just jerks. That's not the kind of confrontation I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ability to confront something. And so if you don't confront certain things, all of a sudden your imagination gets away and you're thinking of stuff, and all of a sudden, you know, you see yourself in a coffin and laying there and your family's all over. Don't do that. Confront stuff. And for all of us, it's different things. It may be your checkbook. You know, you may have not been able to confront your checkbook in 20 years. You don't even know what the number is. You just keep putting money in and writing checks, okay? Because you're not willing to confront it. Here's what I want you to do. When you get up early in the morning, sit with your My Success battle plan book that I wrote and start writing down things that you haven't been able to confront. And then make the decision. That's all it is. It's just a decision, a choice, that you're going to confront some stuff. It may be a phone call. It may be going to a website. It may be doing something. But get things, confront it, and then get over it. And you're going to notice that it's going to clean up your life a whole lot. All of a sudden, your shoulders are going to start lifting up because the 3 billion pound weight of just the imaginative thoughts you've been thinking is gone. Confront. Look it up. Be good for you.
Car accidents happen in seconds, but the pain can last for months. Even a minor crash can cause hidden injuries that don't show up right away. At Raleigh Injury Chiropractic, we specialize in treating auto accident injuries. We help relieve pain, restore movement, and support your recovery naturally. And don't wait for the pain to get worse. Call Raleigh Injury Chiropractic today. Your recovery starts here.
I want to help you find ways that you too can love life. Facebook, drtimweir.com. Go check it out. We got a whole lot of stuff on there, and I want to see you there. It's all about loving life. And so until next week, keep loving life. The lies. Don't change the channel because we got more coming up. Yes. Look at you.